Up next, Archie in, oh boy, let me take a guess. Don't tell me, Madison. Archie is with us in Bossier City, Louisiana. Let's see how they go. Bossier, dadgummit. I thought the Bossier, the French thing, thought that may be what it was. Bossier City, Louisiana. Archie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
All right. How you doing? This is my first time calling.
Well, I'm glad you're calling, man. How can I help?
All right. Well, I work in the grocery industry, right?
Okay.
I've been with this company 5 years. They got some openings for promotion. The openings are before promotion. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I prepare myself going through the process? Like, I'm looking for resources to read that are different, because I read a lot of John Maxwell books, but I'm looking for different authors who teach on leadership,
Yeah. Well,
I love his books. I'm just looking for,
Oh, so you're looking for book recommendations? I'm your guy. No?
Okay.
What is it?
Yes. Correct. My bad. It's just...
Okay, here, let me give you a couple book recommendations, and then if you've got a question for me about how to win this management job or leadership job, I'll tell you. But I'm okay if you just want book recommendations. It's your phone call, Archie. Now, if you want somebody outside of John Maxwell to read on leadership, I got two books, or actually one specific book and a couple of authors that you need to dive into. One, I want you to read Dave Ramsey's book, Entre Leadership, #1 bestseller. It really combines the idea of what does it take to win at being an entrepreneur and also win at being a leader. And it's a wonderful book. And actually, I'm going to give it to you. So when we're done with the phone call, Madison's going to send it to you. How about that? Okay?
Okay.
Now, I also want you to read Pat Lencioni's stuff. Pat Lencioni, Lencioni. He's a good friend, multi-best-selling author, and he writes these parables that have fantastic truth in them, and that'll be really, really good for you across the board. Just pretty much everything that he's read. But I would read The Advantage. I would read The Ideal Team Player, even though it's written from the context of an ideal team player. It's really important for leaders to understand when you get in that position, you want to measure your team by how he describes the 3 major attributes of an ideal team player. So that's a good place to start. All right, how can I help you? What else you got?
Okay, so here's my question. When I put it forward, the promotion in, how do I go? It's within the company that I work for. Yeah. So do I just put the information, what I'm good at? I mean, I've seen your resume you had on the site. I'm trying to make sure I do this right.
Yeah, so do exactly the way I tell you, even though it's an internal position. And so you're going to put your relevant experience in there, and it's all relevant because you've been in the company. So don't overthink this. Even though you're internal, do a resume that looks different than everybody else's. It's going to be very impressive, and they're going to see something different with you. But I think the big issue is you need to draw out in the resume, as I lay it out there, for what you bring to the situation, to the company, in this particular position you want. You want to make the case here that your current and past experience within the company sets you up beautifully to lead. What have you been doing for 5 years? Have you been in multiple positions or one?
I've been in multiple positions.
Okay, and what are those positions? Give me the quick rundown.
Okay, so, all right, I stocked floors. I've worked in, like, every grocery department you could think of, like.
Perfect.
From dairy to.
Perfect.
Frozen.
Perfect. Now, let me tell you. All right, so listen. So you don't need to list it out now that you answered it the way I was hoping you were going to answer it.
Okay.
So here's the deal. You, Archie, have filled every position in that store, which makes you ideal to be a leader because you know what it takes to win in each of those positions. You know what the standard is, and you know what excellence is because you've done it. And you're going to lead a team better than most candidates because you've done all of the positions that you will be leading. That makes you tremendously valuable. Well, Archie, you haven't led before. What makes you believe that you can lead? Well, I'm going to go back to that answer. I know how to lead because I can listen. I'm telling you what to say. I know how to listen for the warning signs when someone's not doing it the right way, or someone feels like they're overwhelmed, or someone feels like they're bored. I know what to look for. I know the type of person that'll win in the position, and I know to look for the warning signs and look for the positives, that I know that person's doing a great job. That's your answer. And that's what makes you uniquely qualified to lead. Make sense?
Yes. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet it. Hey, Archie, I believe in you. You got to walk into that. Now, listen, don't just download my resume guide. Get the how to win the interview guide. Because that's going to prep you so that you're answering questions the right way and asking the right questions. But, Archie, you got this, man. In fact, I've said this on the show before. I had a caller recently call in and say, I want to get into the restaurant management side of things and potentially consulting restaurant owners on leadership things and making sure their leadership is functioning properly. And it was a lady, and she said to me, Ken, what do you think is the best way to go about that? And you know what I told her? Essentially what I just told Archie. Make sure that you go work in every position of a restaurant. Be a hostess, be a waitress, work on the line, the food line, to the extent that you can do some cooking or at least stand there and just watch how the cooks operate. What do they do beyond just cooking the food? Become an expert to the extent that you can get some experience in every position in the restaurant. That's what's going to make you very valuable as a manager and a leader, and then eventually as a consultant. I don't want to hire a consultant who's never done it. I want a consultant who's waited tables and dealt with rude people and impatient people, who's had some experience on the path. That's what I want. I don't know what you want as a consultant, but I don't want somebody who just has done a bunch of studying. I want somebody who's actually done it. The studying's nice, but studying a topic does not replace experiencing the issue or the topic or the task. It just doesn't. It'll help enlighten you, but experience is everything.